Another Monday Night Raw in the ring, they clash. Smackdown Friday night, body slam with the crash. The casual guy talking, don't let it pass. He spits the truth in the wrestling podcast bash. From the top ropes they dive for the belt that bends. Blood, sweat, and tears, they reap what they spend. In this web circle, lives twist and then listen to the tales, the casual guys intense. From the top ropes they dive for the belt that bends. Blood, sweat, and tears, they reap what they spend. In the squared circle live life, twist and then listen to the tales, the casual guys intent. Tune in to now, in the Raw Show, WrestleMania, wrestling wait for it. Heroes fall, villains rise, they dance the violent dance. Chairs, tables, ladders, stakes, the audience in a trance. Casual guy breaks it down chance by chance. He peels back the curtain, gives secrets a glance. Podcast waves reverberate like a count. Each move, each fight, not just for the clout. Standing tall in chaos, what it's all about. The casual guy tells it raw, no doubt. Clinching battles, unending tales, flashing lights, roaring crowd, no trumped up sales. Beyond the scripted saga, reality prevails. In the casual guy's realm, the truth never fails.
Okay, so we had Friday Night Smackdown. We had Bash in Berlin Friday and Saturday. I don't really know where to start. I'm gonna start with Friday Night Smackdown, and we'll kind of go from there. Really, I think Bash in Berlin had the better matches or the better card, but Friday night felt more exciting to me. Um, I'm not going to start off with like my initial notes from Friday night. I think let's just start with the LA Knight issued his open championship or open match invite for his championship on Friday. And he got Ludwig Kaiser, which I don't think was a surprise. I know there were some rumors going around that it would be Kaiser and Sheamus versus LA Knight in like a triple threat match. But it ended up just being Kaiser, which I think is the right play there. You know, Sheamus is great and all, but I think for being in Germany, maybe just like a standalone match for Kaiser there is the best move. And I think it was a good idea to have Kaiser sort of push for a belt. Um, at this point, um, he's never really been in that conversation, I don't think, where you consider him a contender for something, but this one felt believable to me. And so I think that was kind of the cool part watching this match is that yeah, he got a title shot and it felt believable and real. And yeah, maybe he has a chance. I don't think anyone has a chance against LA Knight in the foreseeable future here, but it still felt believable to me. And I think if you look at Kaiser, like if he's gonna stand next to Gunther, like he needs to be relevant. He can't just be sort of this jobber dude that maybe he has sort of been over the last couple of years. Like now he's starting to find his footing, free from Da Vinci as well. So he's not really considered like a tag team guy. He's a standalone wrestler on his own. So I liked this push that they gave him. Obviously, it's in front of the home crowd and stuff, so he got a huge pop from the German crowd. That dude's a legend over there. But at the end of the day, LA Knight does defend his title. But it was a good match, and like I said, I think it was a credible match for Kaiser to go out there and have a shot at a belt. So I like that. Later after that, you had Apollo Crews and Baron Corbin versus Los Garza, formerly known as Los Letharios. And the crowd did give him a chant. This is the awesome chant. And so that was cool. I think that was a good match for both parties here. Obviously, you got two guys in Apollo Crews and Baron Corbin who haven't been relevant on the main roster. And Corbin has been on the NXT card uh, more often than not as of late. He's had a couple, little cameos in the last week or so on the main show. So I think there's a good match for both of them here, especially like Los Garza, who had their little tag team push, and ever since they've joined Legato, they seem to just be sort of playing this background role and supporting. Um, uh, Santos Escobar and being sort of his henchman, backup crew or whatever. I personally liked the Los Lotharios gimmick and I thought it was cool, but I think what they're going for with Legato is maybe a little more edgy than being like the lover boys of WWE. So I thought that was a good match for both parties here and give them a little more spotlight, show the crowd what they can do and all that sort of stuff. So good on them. You had Solo call out a triple threat tag match versus DIY and Street Profits. I really liked this promo. I think this is maybe the best thing that the Bloodline has done since becoming this new sort of bloodline. And I think these sort of pre-recorded um, promos that they've been running with certain people or groups benefits them more in the long run. So, I think this is the best promo that the new bloodline has had. And I think this might be their best shot at like sort of winning people over or making them turn more heel. But, the live mic work from the bloodline does need some work. And there's a lot left to be desired there. But this might be the best route for them to just do prepared stuff as much as they can. I don't think, they're still going to have to face the music in front of the crowd at a certain point. But um, so yeah, I thought that was all right. Um, they flashed a promo for the WWE Speed tournament that they've been doing, which is 5-minute rounds sort of deal. Um, Andrade or was it Carlito has been no, it is Andrade. It's sort of like the champion currently in the speed division. But they flashed a pic of Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill in the WWE speed thing. And it kind of just made me think, um, not to fast forward all the way through Bash in Berlin, but if these two are going to have a rift, could it start with the WWE speed tournament in sort of put a little more spotlight on that, gain a little more viewership and some traction behind the speed thing to start the rift there so that people will maybe start tuning in. Not that they alluded to a feud, but they did show them both in there as being participants in the speed thing. So you got to think maybe at some point these two would face off against each other, and maybe that's what starts to crack the union between Bianca and Jade. But who knows? Um, okay, then you had a Cody and KO segment, and Cody said that KO doesn't get enough credit for the renaissance that WWE is going through right now, and that maybe Cody receives too much for that. KO's been alluding to Cody's knee being hurt during this European tour. He said it got hurt, and not to give it away, but you saw that during the match at Bash in Berlin as well. Um, and my question after Friday night is, will we still be friends, right? Are they still going to be friends at the end of this? I believed they would be. I thought it was going to be one of those matches where, they raise each other's hands as this dude won, he deserves it. It's all makes you feel warm and soft and fuzzy on the inside. After that little run there. You had Austin Theory and Grayson Waller face off backstage with Baron Corbin again. There seemed to be a little bit of a rift between A Town Down Under. I think again, they just do this stuff to make you think, what if? I think it gives them the flexibility to swerve whatever way they want as well. Um, but I don't think ultimately anything's going to come between A Town Down Under. Like I said a couple days ago, I think they are a good group together, and they just need something to put them over as like a super heel. And I think that crowd work, like I talked about, where Grayson Waller ripped up the fan sign and threw it back into the audience. I think stuff like that is eventually going to put them over. Um, we had Andrade versus Carmelo Hayes, number 4, and this is the 4th installment in just about the last month, maybe a little bit more than that, but these 2 have been going at it, 4 times in the last, I think, 5 weeks, which is a little bit much, but like I've talked about in the past, I think if you're the TV viewer, um maybe you're a little bit tired of it, but I think if you were there, you would enjoy the match. But that being said, Carmelo wins here, so now it's tied up at 2 apiece between these guys, and obviously we're gonna get number 5 here. I would imagine someone's got to break the tie, right? So they're sort of setting us up. Who's gonna break the tie? I think they will put Carmelo Hayes over, and I think it will be, he wins 3-2 in the best of 5 series here because I think he's getting a little more of a push, and I think Andrade's been a big help in getting Carmelo Hayes over, and so I think he would do it again. He's a vet, and he's got to put the new guy over. So I think Carmelo Hayes will win that 5th matchup. Um, Lastly, you had the Mi Chin versus Nia Jax Street Fight Rules match. Um, Mi Chin powerbombed Nia Jax through a table, uh, towards the end, and then here comes Tiffy running out uh, with the Money in the Bank briefcase. She teases the cash in here, and we don't get it. And you keep seeing these scenes where Tiffy's running to the ring while Nia Jax seems to be down. And I think, this is the second time that this has happened since Nia and Tiffy have been friends. And I think if you're Nia at a certain point, you got to start questioning what Tiffy's intentions are because she seems to be running in to cash in on your belt. And obviously, Tiffy ended up helping Nia defend it, but it's not a good look. It's not a good look. And if you're Nia Jax, you got to be a little bit suspicious of Tiffy at this point. So I think that's going to continue to spiral. I just think that uh, as long there will be no cash in by Tiffy, uh, as long as Nia holds the title. Well, I shouldn't say that. I think she will cash in, but they're gonna keep teasing Tiffy cashing in on Nia, until she does or until someone else wins. So, it's just kind of you're waiting for that payoff, right? Um, Bailey reappeared to come take out Tiffy, which kind of seemed weird to me because if anyone, she should probably want to take out Nia Jax, but I get it if she doesn't want Tiffy to cash in, whatever it is. So it sort of a weird interruption there, in my opinion, of having Bailey come out to take on Tiffy. As far as the rest of that night goes, that's pretty much it. Those are my takeaways from it. Headed into Bash in Berlin, they start the night off with Cody versus KO to start the night, which is odd. It's your biggest face in the company um, the biggest belt in the company, and that's going at the first match. But I guess I understand because the drama for the later matches seems to be a little more intense than the face off between Cody and KO. So I understand it, and I don't think you want to start the night off with Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair versus Holy Unholy Union. Like, no disrespect to them, but you want to get the night started off with a big bang, and that's a big bang. Um, hmm. I think it's sort of like what they did to us at SummerSlam, right? Like started off um, with Rhea Ripley and Liv. So it's sort of in vain with that. It was a good match between Cody and KO. KO had mentioned the night before, oh, your knee's injured. Cody insisted that it wasn't. Um, and at a certain point, Cody tries to jump on the top rope and his knee gives out and he goes down in pain and KO was behind him and had his back but decided not to go attack the knee, which, like I said, I didn't really see KO turning heel, even though they're hinting at it so much. I just it didn't make sense to me. um so eventually, Cody does end up winning the match over KO after a series of stunners and crossroads, but Cody ends up retaining. Now, okay, I get it. We're off the heels of SummerSlam, where it was sort of the apex halfway through the year um, since WrestleMania, um, and you know, I think it's easy for me to say, but I don't know that Cody's uh, reign as champion since he's won has been I think it's been a little bit less than electric, I would say. But the problem is here is that there really isn't a bigger opponent for Cody to beat right now. We don't have the storylines. I think, as a fan base, agree that it's not Solo Sokoa, even though it's rumored that it's going to be Cody versus Solo at Bad Blood. It's not Solo. There's no one bigger that Cody can beat for the next 6 months or so that's going to be bigger than Roman Reigns. And now Roman's back. So if Roman's not going to get a title shot against Cody, who's going to get the title shots against Cody? I do think you'll see another solo match there. Um, but beyond that, who is it? And how do you build the story? What's Where's the rivalry going to come from? Um, because we don't have that and we haven't really had it. And I get that, you know, the the solo thing was already sort of built into it. Um, but it just doesn't have the same effect, right? As Roman Reigns does. So I think that's the struggle where they're at with Cody's storyline. Um, we need to start building something up that's going to be a bigger than life match where he is the champion, not the challenger. And I think that's going to be tough, but hopefully they can pull something off. And I hope it's not just Roman Reigns. I think they could build something to where it's another Roman versus Cody in the future, but I think it would be too soon to do it now. Let's focus on something else. Um, so then next up, you had Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair versus Old Unholy Union. The match was okay. Jade and Bianca end up winning back the tag titles, uh, which I get. Like, I think if they're two of the biggest women's superstars um, in the main roster, and so it makes sense. Like on paper, yeah, who's gonna beat those two? Unholy Union doesn't make a lot of sense to be beating Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, in my opinion. at least at this point. But now you've given Jade and Bianca the titles back. So now where do we go from here? Right? This is where I think that Pure Fusion Collective might come into play, and they make a run at it here next. But I don't think it's going to be Unholy Union. I think they had their run, and they will still be a tag team, but I don't think they're going to be getting another shot at the title anytime in the very near future. Probably in the near future, but maybe not in the very near future. Um, so yeah, uh, then you had the Drew versus Punk, the strap match. I thought going into this or after this match was finished, I thought this was the best match they had so far of the night. Um, CM Punk does end up taking the bracelet back, and he won the match. And like I said, I thought if Drew had won this, that maybe we'll see the end of this feud. But I thought if CM Punk wins, well, now they're notched 1-1. So I don't quite think it's over yet. But I think we're getting close to it. I think this is a storyline that you have one final match between the two, probably the next PLE, and then you bury it for a little bit. You bury it until either Punk or Drew gets a title. And I think in the way I could see things playing out is that Drew goes after Gunther after this, gets a title shot there. That makes the most sense to me. Um, and then you could start, you know, planning for a Drew versus Punk title match. Maybe that's Royal Rumble. Maybe that's WrestleMania next year. I don't know, but I think those timelines could work out both. If we have one more match between these two, we bury it and then we can revisit it again in the near future. But um as far as the match goes, I thought Drew hit a really clean Claymore on CM Punk, and then Punk hit a succession of GTS and hitting the turnbuckles. So he put Drew through the ringer with I think like three GTS, and then he hit the turnbuckle. He teased that last one quite a bit, and then he ended up hitting him with the GDS and hitting the turnbuckle to win. So I thought that was the best match, maybe of the night, probably of the night. That was maybe my favorite one. Then you had the Terror Twins versus Judgment Day. Again, I think this is a fun match. It's tough to do these sort of mixed tag team matches, because anytime there's a tag, that means the other, if a boy tags in a girl, the other girl's got to come in and all that stuff. So I think it's tough, but there was some interference from Judgment Day, but it wasn't enough as Damian Priest ended up dismantling basically the entire Judgment Day himself outside of the ring. Um, and, uh, you know, Terror Twins end up winning this match here. Um, so the question is this feud over with the Terror Twins and Judgment Day? I don't think it is. I think you still got some meat on the bone with the Rhea Dom stuff. But I think, you know, Judgment Day's been sort of sending out their scrubs, so to speak, on Damian Priest. And, I think Finn Balor is maybe the leader as much as he says there are no leaders in Judgment Day. He is the leader of Judgment Day. And so I think this feud will evolve to more of a Finn Balor versus Damian Priest rather than Dom or Carlito or JD McDonough versus Damian Priest. Now it's got to evolve to Finn Balor. And then I think once you have that complete, they'll move on from that. um Judgment Day, I could see them going up against Final Testament, or maybe even the Wyatt Six. I think those could be uh maybe the Wyatt Six makes more sense because they're more of a face. I think people want to see them succeed and they want to see the Judgment Day lose. So if you get a couple of wins from the Judgment Day over on Wyatt 6, that maybe turns them more heel. I don't know how they could be more heel, but I think they could. And then eventually you set up a big Wyatt 6, Uncle Howdy over Finn Balor type of match, or you could even do a 3-on-3. You could even do 4-on-4 with Judgment Day and and the Wyatt 6. So, I think that's where I'd like to see it go, once this is resolved. Last up, end of the match or end of the night, last match was Gunther versus Randy Orton. In a good match here. You just got a couple of this is a passing of the torch match. This is excuse me. Um, this is like the first title defense for Gunther that you're like, okay, he's cemented himself as a champion. He's beaten a 14-time former champion here. So it makes sense to have Gunther retain. Obviously, they're in Germany, which is close to his home. Um, and so it sort of ended with that. But I think just overall, like you're kind of having this SummerSlam hangover right now, where I think a lot of the big storylines, um, kind of reach their apex at SummerSlam, and so we're sort of on the downhill right now. But I think things will start to build. I think you'll start to see a little more Roman over the next few weeks, month, whatever, and then we'll start building uh, towards what I think Netflix. Also, this next Monday Night Raw tomorrow is going to be the last one. No, I'm sorry. This SmackDown on Friday is that. Oh no, they've already had their last SmackDown. So the next SmackDown is going to be on USA starting this week, and so maybe they got something up their sleeves that they're going to pull out for this, and they've kind of just been sitting on it waiting. But we'll see. Curious to see what happens tomorrow night. Hopefully, some new things evolve, some new characters come out to start challenging for some of the titles. But we will see. But I think Friday night we'll have a big splash. It's going to be the first time it's been on USA, so that'll be cool. But other than that, that's kind of my wrap. Sorry it wasn't a ton, but I feel like it was kind of anticlimactic, if I'm being honest. So we'll see what happens later this week. I'll be sure to keep y'all in tune, and we'll talk about it probably Wednesday-ish, something like that. Thursday night, you can catch me on the Haunted Horse Show starting at 7 p.m. Pacific. Um, I'm sorry, 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Pacific. So you can catch me at the Haunted Horse Show on Thursday. As always, I do my drops on Friday with WWE with Ryan and Sacktown on the King's Court. You can always catch me there as well. And Conspiracy Cops will be on Saturday. So until then, we'll be seeing ya. If you're doing fantasy football like me, good luck drafting this weekend, or I hope you had a good draft, whatever the case is. But yeah, I got another one here in about an hour. So time to get ready. See y'all later.
Another Monday Night Raw in the ring, they clash. Smackdown Friday night, body slam with the crash. The casual guy talking, don't let it pass. He spits the truth in the wrestling podcast bash. From the top ropes, they dive for the belt that bends. Blood, sweat, and tears, they reap what they spend. In the square circle, lives twist and then listen to the tales, the casual guy's intent. From the top ropes, they dive for the belt that bends. Blood, sweat, and tears, they reap what they spend. In the squared circle, live life, twist, and then listen to the tales, the casual guy's intent. Tune in to know, hear the Raw Show, WrestleMania, Wrestling fall, villains rise, they dance the violent dance. Chairs, tables, ladders, stakes, the audience in a trance. The casual guy breaks it down chance by chance. He peels back the curtain, gives secrets a glance. Podcast waves reverberate like a count. Each move, each fight, not just for the clout. Standing tall in chaos, what it's all about. The casual guy tells it raw, no doubt. Bone-crushing battles, unending tales, flashing lights, roaring crowd, no trumped-up sales. Beyond the scripted saga, reality prevails. In the casual guy's realm, the truth never fails. Podcast waves reverberate like a count. Each move, each fight, not just for the clout. Standing tall in chaos, what it's all about. The casual guy tells it raw, no doubt. Casual guy tells it raw, no doubt. Casual guy tells it raw, no doubt. Bone-crushing battles and unending tales, flashing lights, roaring crowd, no trumped-up sales. Beyond the scripted saga, reality prevails. In the casual guy's realm, the truth never fails.